right, everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Elevate Your Standards podcast. I'm your host, as always, Derek Lauder. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. However you're listening today, it could be on YouTube, could be on Apple Podcasts, any podcast platform. I want to say thank you. You guys are helping us grow tremendously. This week, this month in particular, we have seen outstanding growth, especially on Instagram and social media platforms. So I want to thank all you guys for helping us grow as a podcast, whether that's sending to your friends, just listening every week, whatever it is. Thank you. I appreciate it. We're going to use a lot of that growth, a lot of this continued, climbing up the hill to get guests on this year, guests that you guys want to hear. So stick with me. I promise over these next couple months, we're going to have some big time guests on here that you guys are going to enjoy. So today's episode, guys, we're going to talk about retraining the subconscious mind. So many of us have so many beliefs shoved in our subconscious mind that have been there from the time we were born. Or I should say we have been forming from the time we were born. Our subconscious minds, literally from the time that we were at a young age, have been forming to the beliefs around us, whether that's the people that we've looked up to, the people that are in your life, the way that your life and your social structure was growing up. It's all been formed, and it's all formed your mind in a certain way. And some of that is very positive, and some of it can be very negative, especially about money, self-worth, financial issues that plague a lot of people. A lot of it comes from subconscious programming. So how do we get rid of that programming? How do we reframe the life that we live to understand that what you thought was a lot of money maybe isn't, and what you thought was working hard maybe isn't, right? So maybe you're a little bit misconstrued because your subconscious mind has been programmed in a way that you don't want it to. And that's not a bad thing. It's not your fault. But the key is, in order to get to where you really want to get to in life, to get to that elevated, level of income or of happiness, of fulfillment, you're going to have to elevate your standards, and you're going to have to figure out, how can I retrain my subconscious mind so it's working for me and not against me? So something I'm very passionate about. I really hope that you guys find a way to not only incorporate this in your business life, but your everyday life, whether that be your relationships, whatever it is. I hope you guys find a way to incorporate this reframing and retraining of your subconscious mind into whatever it is that you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about it. Let's dive in. So this is how I want to start it, okay? Most likely when we are all born, when we are all young, we all have a clean slate, right? So there are some things that come from nature. The nature versus nurture argument has gone on for a while. So there's definitely some traits that come, but most of us have a clean state. And what we are given, what we are fed by our parents, our community, our friends, what we feed ourselves ends up being the subconscious programming that carries us throughout our life. And the problem with this subconscious programming is that for a lot of people, it is causing the same problems and the same walls that they continue to run into. One thing as entrepreneurs, as young driven people, that we always have to check is our self-worth. Are we valuing ourselves at the correct level? We have to make sure that we are always keeping our self-worth high and knowing what our service is and what our self has to offer to other people in this world. Too often, young people sell themselves short because of their age, or maybe it's because of a lack of experience. So they sell their prices short, or maybe they just sell the job that they want to get, or the girl they want to get, or the guy they want to get, whatever it is. They sell themselves short of what they could do in their life because they're young, because they don't have the experience to back it up. You have to know your self-worth. You have to be self-aware, and that's the key to ever starting to grow, because if you don't try to push the envelope, if you don't try to push the edge, you're never going to push out of that comfort zone and gain something new, get where you haven't been before. If you keep doing what you've done your whole life, you're never going to get to places that you haven't reached before. You need to make sure that you're consciously taking risk. I heard a great quote last year that completely changed how I was looking at things, and it really made me think about that you have to be feeling risk at all times. You have to feel like you're jumping out of an airplane at all times. You should feel that level of risk, or else you're not taking enough in your everyday life, right? So how does that relate to business? How does that relate to podcasting? How does that relate to coaching, to whatever it is you're doing as a young, driven entrepreneur? Well, this is how it relates. There may be that person you want to reach out to on Instagram. There may be that business, that client that you want to reach out to. Maybe it's a deal that you can get, but you're scared of the pressure, of the repercussions that would happen if you do get this deal, and then you have to live up to that hype. You have to live up to that pressure to perform at a high level. For instance, I like to tell us to a lot of companies that I talk to, or young people who are starting companies, and I said, what if Nike reached out to you today? Are you ready to take that contract on? Do you feel comfortable doing that? Because whatever work you do for that company is going to be your reputation in that industry, and most likely you'll never recover if you don't do a good job. So are you ready? If you're not ready, then that's a problem. You need to be ready to take on the biggest client if they walked in your door tomorrow. So if you're not, look in the mirror and understand, why am I not ready? What can I improve on every single day? And those same people who aren't ready to take on Nike, and I don't mean take them on as a competitor, but take them on as a client, those same people will tell you that they don't have anything else to do, that they can't find a way to move forward because they have roadblocks. Well, why aren't you ready? What small people can you reach out to and work for free to build your resume, build your portfolio? It's all about retraining that subconscious mind. Instead of having this mindset that, honestly, we've been taught for so long, that's you're not good enough, right? You're not worth that much. You're worth 50 to 100K a year, and that's it. That's what we've all been taught. Like once you reach $100,000 a year, that's like maximum worth for a lot of people, because that's just subconsciously what we've been told our whole life is a lot of money. The people that are out there making a lot of money, the people that are out there getting rich, know that subconsciously they're worth a lot more. This is a great example. A lot of people who are young and driven out there will graduate college and they will get shot down by the fact that everyone that's around them is going to get jobs that are worth like $40,000 to $50,000 a year. And they feel like they should fall into that same trap. Why? Because they got a college degree. Or let's even back it up a step. A lot of people graduating high school feel like they should immediately go to college because everybody else around them is doing that. Because that's what we've been subconsciously programmed to do our whole life. You graduate high school, you go to college, and then you accept a $40,000 to $50,000 job and you start paying off your student loans. If you're lucky, in 10 years, you have advanced in that company and you're making, six figures, 110, 120, and you're happy, you're settled. You start a family and that's that. You stop worrying about finances because it's secure. That's what you're told is happy. That's what you're told is a good life. So for people who, and if that is a good life for you, that's fine. But for the people who don't want that, for people who want more, it's hard because society looks at you different. They look at you as greedy, right? It's not being greedy. It's reprogramming your subconscious to understand your self-worth. Understand that life isn't about struggle. There's people out there who don't struggle because they know how much they're worth and they let other people work for them. You have to do it yourself. You have to understand and go on your own journey to get to a point where you can charge what you want to and know that you're actually worth it walking around and not feeling like a fraud. And again, this goes back to reprogramming the self-conscious. A lot of people have weird thoughts about money when it comes to how much is a lot, right? And you talk to one person, they're betting $5,000 on a game, and the other person thinks $5,000 is the most they've ever had or ever seen in their life. And I understand that really reflects how much money people have, but really it's about mindset, right? Mindset from a young age. Most people can never get past a certain level. And a lot of people, you'll see this with a lot of clients when they start their coaching business or when they're starting their business, they have in their mind what their goal is. They have in their mind what they think is a lot of money. And once they get there, they can never eclipse that mark. Let's say it's like $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month. And then once they get there, they keep coming right at 10,000, right under it, right below it, because they put a ceiling on themselves. Their subconscious has programmed themselves to say, hey, if you're making this much money, that's a lot. And most agencies, most companies don't make that much this month. So it'd be hard for you to make more. The other company who wants to make 5 times that much and knows there's companies out there doing that won't stop. And that ceiling won't be put on themselves subconsciously through their actions, thoughts, and decisions, which ends up affecting end results. So wrapping this all around, what does this come back to? Take a little bit of inventory of yourself, of your subconscious thoughts. I challenge you to do this tonight. If you are young, you are driven, and you think that this year has a chance to make a difference in your life, take an inventory of your subconscious programming. What programs in your mind continue to repeat and continue to cause cycles and walls and roadblocks that you are actually putting up in your own life subconsciously? Once you have those written out, once you understand what they are, make a game plan, a plan of action to address those and take steps forward. Reprogram your subconscious mind so you know what you are worth, so you know what you can charge, so you know what you deserve in this world. And quickly you will see that the world around you starts to change and adapt to what you're willing to accept. And that, my friends, is the power of reprogramming the subconscious. So to wrap it up a little bit, okay, we all have a subconscious mind that's been reprogrammed since we were young, and we need to make sure that we're going in there reprogramming it to what we want it to be like. Elevate Your Standards podcast. We are on YouTube now, as you guys know. We're also on a bunch of other podcast platforms. Like I said, we're seeing a lot of growth. You can check it out on Instagram at Derek Lauder. I really appreciate it if you guys share this, whether it's just a clip or whether it's the whole episode. Share it with your friend. Let them know where they can find the latest episode. Let's get some more traction going on it, okay? Now, besides that, like I said, we have good guests coming up these next couple months. We're going to start booking them, and you guys are going to be very, very impressed by the names, I promise. And besides that, thank you guys for sticking with me throughout this year. We're coming up on a year anniversary of Elevate Your Standards. It's been a fantastic time. I hope you guys have been motivated and enjoyed what I've been doing. I've never had more fun in my life than doing this, so I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Elevate Your Standards, and I will see everybody back next week. If you can, go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram, subscribe to the podcast, and send it to a friend. All right, guys.